Welcome to the Commander Smiths.
We are the Commander Smiths.
I'm Adam Smith.
And I'm Lowry Smith.
Don't worry.
We're cousins.
This is episode 340, and that Malort thing is kind of just haunting me right there.
Yeah, all right. So we're not doing the marinating spam thing. Let's get that out of the way. We both felt ill the next morning.
Yes.
So that's kind of done. Sorry, everybody. That was probably a failed experiment.
Well,
I'm glad we got to try it at least once, though.
I will say, if you're gonna do it, marinating it for whatever days. Splort. Yeah, sorry, that's the right way to say it.
Splort.
Marinate it for a couple days. Don't do 10 pieces. Don't do a whole can of it unless you're splitting it amongst a bunch of people, because after we got done, I was like, man, that was really gross. That was probably the worst thing we've done on here. And then I got curious because I'm very paranoid.
I'd go with the ranch.
Yeah, that was, you didn't like that one as much, but you did like squirt ranch in there. But I'm very paranoid about puking, and that one was very close. And so then I got to thinking, I'm like, how long will this, spam last? And I looked it up that night, and I was pretty buzzed by that point, just off of the Malort and what we were drinking. And it only said it stays good. I know that's just by itself 5 days. And I was like, okay, we're not going to be able to do this whole thing. So I kind of text you that night or whatever. And then the next morning hit, and I woke up and I was like, I think I'm going to puke. I don't know what's going on. I didn't feel drunk. It was just I got nauseous. I had to take the nausea pills or whatever. Cindy has a few of those things. And I'm like,
okay.
I got a bucket next to the bed. That's how close I was. That's when you know I'm serious, that it's not just oh, Adam's being Adam freaking out about puking. It's when I get the bucket when I'm not sure if I'm going to make it to the bathroom in time. That's when it's serious. And I text you and you're like, oh, what did you say? You were like, I didn't feel very good either.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't at that point. Scott, it has been in the fridge.
Yes.
We instantly put it in there. There wasn't any point that had been sitting out other than the 2 casts where we did it and drank it. And so, but yeah, I woke up just kind of a little queasy, and I was thinking maybe I just got too drunk. But then, and then Adam's just talking about his whole experience, and I was like, it's not really a too drunk thing. I'm just making excuses. So I don't think it'd be a healthy choice.
Pineapple and ranch.
I mean, none of that was a healthy choice, right? Because I don't know if I think I told you, but I don't know if I said it on cast, but when I was asking my wife for a jar.
Yeah, you did say it on the cast.
Okay, yeah. And she's like, are you going to put Malort in that spam? I was like, yeah. Oh my God. She was clearly disappointed in me as well.
So there's only one other thing. So here's the predicament we're running into is we want the payoff. So if somebody donates money, we don't want it to be okay, well, the next cast we'll take the Malort or whatever we decide to put in it. So it's we don't know exactly how to run this, because there's always that risk of food going bad, and the last thing we want is to get food poisoning. It might be hilarious as a story, but food poisoning, I've never had it, knock on wood. I've only heard it's the worst.
It's not fun.
Yeah. So
not fun.
I don't know if you guys can think of some ideas. I don't know, even fruit.
The other part that we're going to have a problem with is we really like the idea of mixing it in front of everybody and then doing it.
Yeah.
But it did take too long. We tried it twice.
Yeah.
It has to be simpler if that's the case. It seems like the mixing thing just ain't gonna work, which is unfortunate. But if you want to message us ideas on how to make it better and not make us sick, maybe we can spitball and take ideas and stuff like that. But at this point, in my opinion, it's probably a dead idea unless we're doing candy, which isn't.
It doesn't seem as It doesn't.
It's not that crazy.
Well, because the candy's not going to absorb it unless you get like gummy. I guess you get a gummy, a pot gummy,
a pot gummy.
Oh.
I mean, like, I don't think that'd be bad. That'd be weird. And honestly, the one thing I don't know if I said this because I listened to it right away, but bitter meat is really weird. Like, that was such a strange thought of just like, that it's like a salty, fatty meat that really doesn't have a lot of like toughness to it. And then this was just like bitter, not salty.
Yeah.
I guess it was fatty, but it was just bitter meat. Yeah. It was very strange.
It was just a texture thing it was fucking weird. That's all I can say is like, remove all the flavor away. And then it's like, it didn't even have that smell anymore. And that's what was grossing me out. Yeah. That's what I was saying. Yeah. Scott, pot gummies soaked in Malort. We have a different idea with the pot gummies at some point, which hopefully we get going on in the fall here. But yeah, I don't know. So if you guys have some ideas, I don't know, we talked about on the cast last week about like a WAP Malort thing. But the thing is, I think what we realized is if we try to do this more, it has to be a very small thing. Like it has to be here's my small jar. It had to be like something, like a shot in here, or maybe 2 at the most, and then you have like 1 or 2 pieces of something that's just soaking in there. And that's maybe what we do if we wanted to try to continue to do it. But the thing is it really could only, I mean, pineapple, if you put pineapple in here, that would last for a week or 2, probably, right? Cut up pineapple, maybe a week.
I don't know. Pineapple goes bad when you open it.
So that's the thing is like,
but I mean, that's not something that I would be worried about either. Meat's probably a little bit different,
right? But fruit would just, makes more alcohol, right? No, I don't know.
No, I don't think that's how that.
I don't think. Just get a bunch of grapes and then it gets even more alcohol, whatever with it. But I don't know. So
I think we put enough wine in the Malort, so that's.
Jaeger. Oh, mixing. I vote for Rat King shot has Malort and Jaeger among other. Ugh. That could be an interesting thing. Okay, so this is a magic podcast, but we're talking all about Malort, but we're just
Malort.
But the thing is the reason why we kind of tried to add food in is go back to our New Year's episode, the end of the year episode. We don't want to be tanked every time we do the podcast.
Right.
We don't want to kill our livers necessarily. I mean, we are drinking beer most times or whatever, but Malort always ends
water.
There you go. Ends up being an interesting night. So mixing shots it would work, but then it's like we need to have breaks because we don't want to be drinking all the time.
Right.
Especially.
Well, and the other thing too is just like going and buying, like having a large allotment of booze is something we don't want to do because I'm a beer drinker. I don't drink the booze other than Malort. So like, I don't want bottles of Jag hanging out. I think you can get that in a shot, Jag. So that's fine.
Yeah, we could get that.
You're
I have Jag that's been I have Jag that's been in my cupboard since we lived at our old house. So that's like 5 years ago at this point.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I think we can workshop this. We need your guys' help. The idea of the spam and Malort was from a listener, so I think it was a good idea. It's just I think we thought it was going to be easier and wasn't going to do what it did.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was different, but we just don't want to get sick, in my opinion. I wouldn't have any problem with the taste and everything. But
yeah, right. Oh,
getting sick is
100% agree with that. Like, I can, tough it out and do that again if I knew that I wasn't going to vomit and get food poisoning.
I guess this is a 10-minute apology at this point. Do we want to move on?
Yeah, that's a good point. All right. So we did, I don't even think did I even hit the 60? Yeah, I did hit that last week. So we did our draft last week. And where is the draft stuff? There we go. Oh, I'll just hit this button.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event.
I didn't want to hit that one. I don't want to show you it. Now you're seeing. Don't look. You saw a result. You saw a result.
Sorry.
All right, so here it's going to be kind of hard to see because we did 32, so I had to fit all these on here. I didn't put all the cards in there because it wouldn't fit. Oh, man, and I already showed the results. Get away.
I can't read.
Don't look. Don't look. All right.
She can't even read.
All right. So here is all the brackets laid out. I can pop this up on Discord and on the YouTube community page. So if you want to follow along on how the bracket does, so I'll probably pop this up later. We'll do the voting again starting on Wednesday. Oh wait, tomorrow's Wednesday. I won't be able to get the voting up tomorrow. We're going to State Fair, so probably pop it up on Thursday. So okay. Let's get to actually our results here. So obviously you had the number 1 overall pick. You had Reliquary Tower, and it was going against Minas Morgul. Okay. You can see here. I mean, it kind of kicked some ass.
Yeah. No, I didn't have to guess that one.
Yeah, so Reliquary Tower won 83%. Minas Morgul got 17%. I was happy that it got 17%. So yours...
This might be the biggest blowout in tournament history.
No. There's a bigger blowout on this list, actually.
Oh, right.
Then we move on to my number 1 pick. This one was closer. Urza's Saga against Rogue's Passage. Now, Rogue's Passage was a number 3 overall utility land on EDH Rec. So this makes sense why it was closer, but 64% for Urza's Saga.
Urza's Saga. Yeah, I mean, like, I did pick that as I'm looking to go against Urza's Saga, and then you see a card that's used so high, and you hope that people really like it, even though, like, it's what has a shot at the end of the bracket.
Yeah. So 36% for Rogue's Passage, which is good going against, I mean, that's been around. It's in so many decks. Like I said, 3rd overall, most played card. All right, so then we get into match 3. See, what was yours? 83%. This one's a bigger blowout. It is Bojuka Bog against Mutavault. And that Bojuka Bog won 85%. So that's the number 2 overall card for utility lands on EDH Rec. So Mutavault, I thought maybe had a chance because it's every creature type kind of thing. But
I feel a little justified. Renshai was said that he was still in shock after my first 2 or 3 picks, and they crushed
so far.
At this point.
Yeah, he's crushed. Yep. The 4th one, this is a big blowout here. So then we had Boseiju going against Dark Depths, and Dark Depths took it down, or Dark Depths. Boseiju took it down 81%.
I'm going to hold you to that mistake.
Yeah,
Dark Depths wins.
Yeah. So yeah, Boseiju moves on. That's a high win there. Match number 5, kind of another bigger blowout, but you're Strip Mine going against Volrath Stronghold.
No real challenges for the
for
first picks.
Okay. Yep. Oh yeah.
No. Like Boseiju and Urza's Saga was a dominating win too.
So this one, Strip Mine won 76% to 24% over Volrath Stronghold. Then just another big blowout. So yeah, you're right. The first 3 on each of our side. The other channel card, which is Atwara Soaring City, against Fomori Vault. And that one.
Although I think that was probably, I mean, against Atwara, Atwara's really good.
Yeah.
So
79% for Atwara and 21 for Fomori. Boseiju better than Bojuka Bog and Reliquary. Yeah, that should be interesting. You'll see how the brackets kind of shake out here in a little bit. It's going to be an interesting battle. Then we had Plaza of Heroes. Completely forgot about that card. That was a good pick by you, Lowry. Going against my Command Beacon. And your Plaza of Heroes comes out victorious with 69% of the vote.
It's starting to get closer, though.
To 31. 69%. That's a good. Hey, I forgot about that card, and I was very upset that I would have had that as an earlier pick there. So that one moves on. Match number 8. This one I'm really happy about. Minas Tirith.
I'm not.
Takes down Arcane Lighthouse.
Disagree.
You disagree. That's
maybe not. Maybe
67% of the vote goes to Minas Tirith. So that goes on to the next round.
I don't like that though. I think that should be a lot closer. I understand that drawing a card is really good, but making sure that you can target your opponent's creatures is also quite good.
Drawing, the best thing to do in Magic is
also it only works in white versus every deck. But I mean,
that's
again, it depends on how people are voting. Yeah, you know what I mean?
That's how good Minas Tirith is. So, all right, and we get into match number 9. So far, all the favored ones. The top ones are if you're watching, the top ones are the favored. The bottom ones are the underdog. So War Room goes against Karn's Bastion. And 78% goes to War Room. So a draw card over Proliferation takes it down. Both these cards can be in any deck. So
the drawing card seems to be something that people really like.
Yeah,
apparently.
I mean, look back to Minas Tirith. I mean, that's why that was.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
Match number 10. Look how close this is. Look how close this is. Alchemist Refuge to Gaia Reach of Sanitarium. 54% for Alchemist Refuge.
That's close.
It takes it down, but it was really close there. So
I think that's a really tough matchup for Gaia Reach. I feel bad that my favorite land, knocked out first round.
But it was an underdog. So this is the biggest blowout. Here you go. Match 11, Field of the Dead going against Castle Lochthwain. Drawing doesn't matter here because Field of the Dead takes it down. 90% of the votes go to Field of the Dead. So
that's ridiculous.
Yeah. So
I get it, but
that's a pretty people like that.
I got really lucky that this went that far then. Yeah. If that's the case, I think. I think it's
that was a snipe one too. That was one of the ones I was about to pick, and then you picked it right ahead of me there. So
did I pick Dark? No, I didn't pick Dark Depths.
Yeah, you did.
Before this, did I?
Oh, before it?
No. Yeah.
No. I don't think it was before. No, Dark Depths was towards the end. All right. Yeah. Then we have match 12, Maze of Ith, taking down Rivendell, 82%. Man, just killed it.
I hate it.
82% over Rivendell. So Maze of Ith moves on to the next round. Match number 13. Oh, it's our first upset. And guess what, Lowry? It's my upset. Inkmoth Nexus gets taken down by Shizo Death Storehouse. 63%. That wasn't just a little guy that got beat down. That
was a big upset.
Yeah, so 63% taking it down. Shizo moves on. Match number 14. Inventor's Fair against all the Surveil lands. And Inventor's Fair moves on at 62%. So far, the only upset was the last one, but I promise there's another one in here, I think, if I remember right. Oh, maybe not. Yeah, actually,
so far.
Match number 15, Academy Ruins against Mystic Sanctuaries. This one was close, 56%.
This one is close, yeah.
Academy Ruins moves on with 56% of the votes. Mystic Sanctuary is dead. And then our last matchup. Oh, there's our other upset, but this was the last two, so it was back-to-back picks. So I had Hall of Heliod's Generosity, and you picked up Minimo, which is another one that I was about to pick right before. You sniped me on 3 or 4. Minimo Schools at Water's Edge. Minimo moves on with 61% of the vote. So out of all those, are there any surprises for you there? They're pretty much straightforward. This is what you kind of thought.
I mean, like I'm not necessarily surprised that Shizo won, but I'm just disappointed. That's more of what it is.
Not mad, just disappointed.
It was a bad matchup, I guess. Shizo's good. Yeah, Shizo's really good, and I think Minimo's really good. Like, do we get to see what next week's match?
I'm going to show that in a second.
Okay, that's what I'm probably more interested in. I still think that the first, or like the drafting of the tournament was pretty. We're pretty close.
Yeah. No,
you know
pretty close to where everything shook out. Tad did just ask, if only we had a Field of the Dead proxy. Guess what? I finished that bitch up last night, so we do have a Field of the Dead proxy. So after, was it last night? Yeah, it was before our power went out. So we forgot to mention that completely because we were just talking about.
Yeah, we can do that during the tags.
Yeah, we'll do that. All right, so let's check out the next week's matchup. Now you're just you're gonna have trouble probably seeing it, but I got everything here. So let's start with the number one. We'll go to number one side, work down your side of the bracket, then we'll go to my side. So Reliquary Tower is going to go against Minimo. So one of yours is moving on. So Minimo, School at Water's Edge. How do you feel about those two matching up?
I mean, I personally like Minimo better, but Reliquary Tower moves on that one.
Yeah, I use Reliquary quite a bit. Minimo's good. I just haven't made a proxy that one yet, so I really haven't been using that one. And now it's really freaking expensive. Or no, I did.
I think you did.
I did make Minimo. Sorry. It's in my wheel deck because that's an untapped effect that I want. So, yep, I'm a liar. All right, so then the next on the same side of the bracket. So all these can potentially face each other. That's why I want to kind of keep it there so people listening can kind of hear this. So we have War Room going against Minas Tirith. So we have two draw cards. You got one. Yeah, they're both ones. Kind of like, I know Minas Tirith is for white and War Room's colorless, but it fits in color decks. You know what I'm saying? Like it matters how many colors you have in the deck and all that stuff for damage and everything. And Minas Tirith helps with the draw in white that white is missing. So I think War Room wins, but Minas Tirith is...
I would say so as well.
Minas Tirith, though, it's like... It's a really good draw card. Draw land card. Like, it's cheap. You know, you're paying 2 plus tapping it, and you just have to attack 2 creatures.
3 to 4, 1 white, and you have to attack. And whereas War Room just works, but
it's 3 for 4 because including it tapping, and then it's damage. So yeah. So I think you're right, but I'm hoping this one's closer. A good battle here. So then we have this one's gonna be good. Otwara going against Field of the Dead.
That's gonna be really good. I have no idea.
I have no idea either.
That's gonna be really good.
Field of Dead is really good, broken-ish card. You know, getting all the zombies and crap. But Otwara is just those channel cards are so good for like protection and bouncing and getting rid of stuff. I mean, I want to say Otwara because it's mine, but I really don't know. This one,
that's super tough. I agree. It's
gonna be a tough.
That's
one.
The best matchup so far out of the 3, but maybe probably top of the rounds.
Scott's chiming in thinking Otwara. Yeah,
you better get out and vote.
Yeah, get out there and vote. Yeah, make sure everybody listening right now for voting. It's on. If you go to our YouTube page and you just click on the community tab, that's where the voting will be. And like I said, it'll be up on Thursday, just because busy tomorrow. So, or if I get it up tonight, it might happen. I don't know. It's whatever. We'll see. Thursday at the latest. All right, the next on the last one on this side of the bracket, on the Lowry bracket side, this one's both my cards, but it's Shizo going against Beseju. This one's Beseju. Beseju's gonna
Beseju.
Yeah, it's
for sure.
So there's a potential that 2 channel cards could go against each other if they make it past this round. But Otwara has a tougher fight.
I love that he just flipped his vote. Hashtag Team Force. Whoa.
Hey, no. Where is my button? Where is it?
Dude, hey, we got to move on to the next matchup.
Get the fuck out!
All right. We move on to the Adam side of the bracket, which it's not really just my side, but because we have it all mixed in there.
Well, your top seeds are
my
over
top
there.
seeds. Yep. Okay, so Urza's Saga is going to be going against Academy Ruins. This is actually, I think this is a better matchup for my number 1 pick compared to yours, because I think Reliquary is going to take it down on your side. I think Urza's has a battle here. It could go either way, maybe. I think Urza should win.
Urza's Saga takes this one, I'd say.
I was going to say, I think Urza should win, but I can see Academy Ruins putting up a good fight here. So it's been around for a long time, man. Urza's is relatively new. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, then we got Alchemist Refuge against Plaza of Heroes. Whew.
That's also, I think, a good one. I'd go Plaza, I think.
I would as well. I mean, I'm going against my card, but I use Plaza in every single deck. You know, it goes.
Yeah, that's the big thing.
Yeah, so Plaza of Heroes, I'm guessing will move on. If it moves on in Urza Saga, that is going to be a battle right there. All right, and then the lower part of that bracket, Strip Mine against Maze of Ith.
I hate that both these old school cards are so early in this.
Yeah. Two old school cards going against each other. I mean, Strip Mine can kill Maze of Ith, but I mean, again, Maze of Ith just is a bitch. I think
the biggest downfall is that Maze does not tap for the mana.
Yeah, but that's the point of this. That's the part of the utility lane tournament we didn't, not point, but you know what I'm saying? The mana part we didn't care about. But yes, right. I agree. I agree with what you're saying completely.
So, also, very tough one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that I use Strip Mine more, I guess.
You monster.
I think I don't use Maze nearly as much as I used to. But they have been printing Maze in Dominaria Masters was huge to get it out there and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been starting to put it in decks more because I've had it used against me, and I'm like, yeah, this is actually a good card to have in there. It's in my, I guess it depends. If it's an attack deck that my commander is focused on attacking, then I'll put it in there. So like my Ansrag, because I want him to not die, so that's kind of a backup thing. But anyways, that should be a good battle. And then the last matchup is Inventor's Fair against Bajuka Bog.
I mean, I think Bajuka wins, but I also think Inventor's Fair should win. I would vote for Inventor's Fair.
Right. I use Inventor's Fair way more than I use Bajuka Bog.
Yeah, because you like tutoring.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
You're a cheater.
You son of a bitch.
How many Magna decks you want to build?
All right, so make sure you guys vote. Like I said, it should be up no later than Thursday. So get out there and vote for those to figure out which one moves on to the next round. Next round will be pretty crazy. Well, this one's a good round. We weeded out all the lower ones. We really only had like 2 good battles on the last round. This one should be a really good round here. So Scott says Bog for the win. Robocop says easy win for Urza Saga. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right. What are we going to next? I forgot what we're doing now. We are we're doing our discussion topic, aren't we?
Yeah, we could do that.
Let me get to card 3. Get over here.
Something was banned in Modern, and we were expecting it to. And so we wanted to just kind of quickly talk about.
Let's just pull up Nadu just because.
Bans. Again, I think we bring it up like every year and a half.
Yeah, something like that. We go over bans. So, I guess, how do we want to frame this? We really didn't discuss this beforehand of how we wanted to do this.
What about because they have a bunch of different reasons why they would want to ban commander cards.
That was how I started it. My bullet points was reasons to ban. So what are some reasons why didn't Nadu get a ban in commander when it got banned in Modern?
So Modern, right, it got banned in Modern. And why was that? Because it can be very consistent. It takes really long turns and it doesn't necessarily win. I do think they probably made a mistake in saying that it can happen twice per creature.
Right.
If it was just once per creature, very different and still very combo-y-ish, just not as consistent. But in Modern, you can have 4 of it, and then you have 4 of the 2 equipment that can switch around and all that kind of stuff. So it's just much more consistent. But it drags out turns, and that can be a big problem in the fun aspect where people actually want to go and play Modern. And so the question ends up being, how problematic is it in Commander? Right. So when we're talking about why would you ban something in Commander, let's specifically talk about Nadu. Do you think it's bannable?
I think there's enough interaction with multiple players to get rid of this card.
I think that's a really good point.
Especially with it being a commander, it's cheap. I think it's annoying, and I think the problem that this card has with commander is that it's one of those cards that if somebody has it as their commander, you're the target. You are now either a Traxa or you're the Sliver deck. People are coming after you. So if you choose that that's your commander, it isn't that kind of Nadu deck. It's just gonna be that kind of there isn't that kind not that kind of Nadu deck. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna get taken out is what I think. I think in the 99, both of us have put it in our decks for the 99.
Right.
Because then you're not building around it, but maybe your deck synergies work very well. Like, for example, Hackball works amazing with this, because you get it out, you're putting those the counters, you're targeting the merfolk, and you're getting the triggers off of it. Oh, my computer made a noise. So I think in the 99 it's very fair. I don't see a problem with it in Commander. How are you thinking with Nadu?
Well, I mean, like, you just hit a bunch of ideas there, right? Like, when it comes to our play format versus Modern, we do have the multiple players, and I do, Wraths are a lot more prevalent, so they don't get those triggers necessarily off of a Wrath effect.
Yeah.
And that would set back their whole thing that's going on. There's only so many cards that actually kind of like dink around, like Lightning Greaves and Shuka. I don't remember which one it was. But Shuko. There we go. And so, like, you definitely have other cards that can interact with Nadu, but like, it's not as consistent as Modern. Number 2, like you said, you become a target. I think this is like Chulane level good, maybe better, but not as. Chulane can get a little oppressive in the style of deck that it can. You put 99 cards in there, like just like lockdown cards, to whereas Nadu is just kind of like protecting your own thing. And I think the biggest thing that they missed was a card like this in its rules text is almost all the cards that are like this. I mean, yeah, I think it's every card that is asking about this is whenever an opponent targets your thing,
right,
this happens.
And
then for some reason they left that out and thought it'd be okay on a legend, and having it happen multiple times, like that part was a mistake of a card. And I think the biggest problem is that the turns just are really long.
Yeah.
And that makes the games unfun. And I think that is why you'll get targeted as a commander. It's not that you're going to get way ahead. It's that it's just going to take forever.
Yeah. And that's kind of what
start doing your thing.
Both Renshai is saying he hasn't seen it in casual yet, but he's only seen it in CDH. And same with RoboCop. He said the problem with it
right there
in CDH is you get to watch a player play solid. And I hate that. That's why my Rashmi deck, I completely killed that deck, is because it was solitaire. No, I was playing on everybody else's turns. And that's another card, like I guess an example of another card that did get banned. What am I looking for? Prophet of Crewfix is a card that's similar to that, right, where it's a solitaire thing where you're always playing on other people's turns. I don't think Nadu is necessarily that way. You can build it that way. And originally when we did the deck review of this, that's how I had it in mind, because I thought when I read it that it only happened twice each turn, period,
right,
not per creature, period. So I was like, this seems like a cool card to build around, because I'm going to play a lot of instants and stuff that I can target my stuff on other people's turns, and I'm able to do all this stuff. But the fact that it's twice each turn for each creature is just insane. Like, I think that's the part.
Right.
If they would have just said,
well, because we both had it really high on our list, and then we each thought it was a different way.
Yeah.
And so when we both were reading, wait, what?
Yeah.
What? Like, yeah. And that became crazier and crazier. And I do, so like Nadu, I don't think it's going to be banned, because I don't think it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Like it is in Modern. So it's like consistently there. If you go to a tournament or you're playing, like, people are playing Nadu, if you got a friend group, you might have one. If you go to a store, you might have one, but that doesn't guarantee it. I do think it's a much fairer card in the 99.
Yeah, because
just like Tulane, if you saw Tulane in your 99, I would not hate it. I don't think it's at like Turgrid's level of like when that comes down either in the command zone or in the 99, you're like, oh, fuck that.
Yeah.
Like, because if you're putting Turgrid in a deck, you're going to have a lot more interaction. Towards like Nadu, you're not going to be able to target all of your creatures twice unless you have those 2 equipment, likely.
Well, and in those you can't do on other people's turns, so it's really just doing it on your turn. You're getting your jollies by hitting everything you have. Say go, and then you'll be ahead. But the thing is this is Commander. You're dealing with a lot of players, so there should be removal like in there,
right? And if there isn't, then again, you almost should be holding it into your hand and going Nadu, get that stuff, so that. And at this point, I think we know it. So I don't think that Nadu is necessarily bannable in Commander.
Mm-hmm.
But like if we want to talk about a card that people hate, but it really doesn't do much, like it just really speeds up the game, would be like Dockside Extortionist, right? Like, but that's one of those cards that's so innocuous with the game to whereas like it's at Cyclonic Rift's level. Like it could happen in every game. Every red deck runs it. Every blue deck runs it. And once you start getting that in your green blue decks, even though there are less, because 2 colors makes it more difficult to be everywhere as well.
Yeah.
It's not at that level yet in the 99. Like you might put it in your deck because it's good protection and great value. It's not good protection. It's great value.
Yeah. If
people are targeting your stuff, but you also can move around your equipment to have that work. So I mean, it'd be great in an aura deck. Like if you're placing auras on your creatures and stuff like that, that's great there too.
Here's a question for you. We have yet to come across anybody that in our play group or at SmithCon that had this as their commander. Right. What will be your reaction if you saw somebody sit down at the table and they're like, I'm playing my Nadu deck? Like how, in your mind, what are you, I mean, this is kind of just on the spot, but like, how are you analyzing? Is that immediately that's your player that you're focusing on, right? I mean, making sure that they're not setting up for Nadu things. Like, okay, how am I trying to explain this?
I mean,
when I sit down at the table and everybody says what their commander is, right? I'm like, oh, okay, you're playing that deck. I look at it, I'm like, okay, just got to get it in my head. I read it and I'm like, okay, I know what the card does. Get a general idea. But then I let people do their thing, and then when things start happening, I'm like, okay, I got to remember what your commander does. Nadu, I think once I know that if somebody has that as a commander, I'm like, okay, I'm going to be very focused on everything that you are doing because I do want to stop the crazy triggers and all that stuff. Like if they get a Lightning Greaves out or Shuko out or whatever, it's like, okay, we need to start removing some of this stuff before... You know what I'm saying? Like, what the card does. It's kind of like the Atraxa effect for me. Whereas Atraxa, it's like, okay, which Atraxa deck is this? Okay, are you about to get out of hand? How do we handle you? Like, your focus is on that player. I think if I saw somebody sit down, my focus is on that player. Not necessarily picking on them, but just making sure I know everything they're doing. I try to have an idea of what everybody's doing, a general idea.
I would probably pick on him. Like if I
was at the table,
completely honest, I wouldn't be like, I'm picking on you. By the way, I would likely keep them in check. So like, not even like, I probably, because they've done their thing. The thing is like, I think it's Cole that says it best, but this is a green blue bullshit card. Like it just does green blue bullshit. Like it's lands, it's card advantage. It is to a degree protecting your creatures. It's doing a ton of shit. It's a 3/4 flyer for 3. Like all these stats are great. It's a relevant creature type with being a wizard. I would have a problem with allowing them to be equal with the table, knowing that
at
any one of their turns, they just shoot ahead.
Right.
And so I would definitely put them in check. Like if I'm going, oh, I have random whatever, like I can get a random attack in, or I have a random removal spell where I want to efficiently use my mana. it's gonna be that player.
Okay, so
like that.
Along those lines, this moves into the like Atraxa decks, or Sliver decks, right?
You need to see it a little bit more, I'd say, but
I mean, if somebody tables it, for me, it's the same thing with Atraxa and Slivers. You know, it's like these can get out of hand very quickly, and so I feel like this is on that level for me. But we haven't seen anybody play it yet, so
right. I think it's too new, but it to me, it's in the Turgrid conversation.
Yeah.
Like when somebody sits down, like I still haven't seen Turgrid, but I know that it's bullshit as well.
I played it.
Like I have no interest in having that shit happen.
It gets killed right away.
Right. And I don't have any interest in seeing this shit happen. Like we have enough green blue commanders that are doing this, then I don't feel bad that I'm stopping them from doing this either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a green blue thing that happens.
Yeah.
It's Thrasios 2.0. It's
easier Thrasios. Like it's just a
right. So it's nothing crazy new either. Right. So like I don't feel bad when the person's like, oh, I can't put lands and draw cards anymore. You're like, yeah, good. Like
build a better deck.
Right. So like I don't think it's bannable, but I don't think it's something that somebody they should go into it knowing that people got the monocle eye on and they're going, I see what you're doing. I know what you're doing.
Exactly. Okay, so we're on the same page because that's what I said. Like,
right.
if somebody's tabling this, I'm watching everything they're doing. But like you said, that player turns into the atom, right? You're gonna take them down until you get them to a spot where you're like, I feel like I got you where I want you, right? That's what you do to me. Like,
right. I didn't want to make you feel bad, but I was like,
I get you
when you were saying if you see the Nadu player sit down, I'm like, well, are you at the table as well?
No, I said that. You were talking though. I was like, what if I'm at the table? Are you going to attack me or are you going to attack the Nadu player? What's going to happen there?
I missed that.
What's your choice? What would be your choice, actually? I'm curious.
Likely, I mean, it depends. Because again, this isn't super different than your green-blue Explore deck. Like that's green blue bullshit. Like, you know what I mean? With Merfolk. And so like it's if you're sitting down with that, like you can at least end the game quicker than a Nadu player. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like but it's still green blue bullshit. And so if you're sitting down with that,
green
I know what your deck does.
It's best two combo colors. I love those two colors.
I know, it's a problem. It's a problem we have.
But
well, Magda's a problem too, by the way. So if you sat down with Magda, with Nadu, I'd be like,
stop hating my decks, man.
Well, okay. Maybe I'll look at this a little bit different. Oftentimes I pick a deck because I have plenty to choose from, right? Me and you both have plenty to choose from. No. Stop. The thing is though, is that I try and make a good game. And oftentimes either I want to pick something new or something that's not going to just be left behind. And sitting down with a Nadu deck makes me go, oh, we're playing that kind of game, right? Like it should bring the power level of your decks up as well. And so you don't want to come in with your super casual, as everybody's kind of mentioned in the comments, as in it's not a casual card.
Yeah.
And so if you expect to have a casual game with this, you're wrong.
Right.
You're
playing.
Don't
CEDH,
bring a casual deck into this.
Like Renshai was saying, this is where he's seen this card a bunch is CEDH and never in casual. Yep, that's a good point.
And I don't think that it has to be a CEDH card. Like as a commander, yeah.
Yes.
Just think of it like a CEDH deck. But if it's in the 99 and you're not really running a ton of synergies with it, you're more looking for that protection or something. Like I did put this in my #Team Force Walk deck because it's a legend.
Get the fuck out!
And it's card advantage of somebody's, but it's only Lightning Greaves in the deck. I'm searching for legends in that deck, not for artifact. Like if they're both out, I'm going to fucking use it.
Right.
But it's unlikely to happen.
Yeah.
You know, it's and so I wouldn't necessarily. How about this? Again, if it hits the table, it's not a casual card. If you have a casual deck, this is not supposed to be in that. Can we say that?
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. I mean, what do you call ours? Is our play level is not just I mean, it's casual, but it's high power level casual.
High power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not CEDH.
But I think it's there in the 99.
Yeah.
I think that'd be fine.
Well, I mean, I have it in hackball, which just is perfect if it gets
fucking
off.
Disgusting.
I've never played it yet, but it's in there. Okay, so I don't know. Did we want to just talk about Nadu? Is that really all? Because I have so much more. Because we could have talked about Hull Breacher, like why that one got banned. Like we could go through all the.
We could talk about why things got banned. I'm fine with that.
So,
do you want to mention cards that you want to talk about?
Well, I mean, one of the things, because on the thumbnail we have Hull Breacher on there.
Okay, well, I guess we got to talk about it since it's on the thumbnail.
Well, that's just. Well, I mean, because it was an example of something recently. Because I'm under the feel for Commander of less banned the better is how I think of it. Because we really, and it seems to be spreading more amongst everybody in Commander, of the Rule 0 stuff, where you have your play group and everybody has their thing of what they do. So just so you guys know that don't know, our Rule 0 is not necessarily a Rule 0 that everybody has to apply to. It's our Rule 0 for Adam and Lowry. So for Adam and Lowry, we try not to play any tutors unless it's fits with like the theme, or counter spells, or infinite combos. What else don't we do? Is that it? How we
those are the major ones.
Those are main
right
three.
there.
Yep, main three. And then we do a little bit of, there's some beginning of the game stuff that we do to make it so it's try to make things fair. So anyways, for me, it's less ban stuff, the better. If it's a problem in your play group, ban it within your play group. So Hull Breacher, though. Hull Breacher became get out of here, Renshai. It's part of the theme.
Magda is a tutor.
Magda, it's the theme of the deck. It's what it does, and that's my only tutoring.
Right, it's a vehicle deck that goes and gets dragons. Because dragons can drive.
Yeah, it's a fantastic deck. I love it. Anyways, okay, so Hull Breacher. The reason why this one's a problem is it's monocolored. 2, well, the flash speed really doesn't help. But making it so that if a person would draw their card, except for the first one, they draw each of their draw steps. So if you're not on your draw step and you Wheel of Fortune and this is out, everybody loses their hand and that player gets out. Like, it's just so oppressive. It makes the game so that's just not fun. And so I get why that one got banned. And for me saying I'd rather have things that are not banned, I'm kind of glad that it did, because I think this would have been sprinkled in through all everybody's decks through our play group. If it wasn't banned,
right,
it would be in there.
And I think that's the problem, is when cards become so used, you see it at every table. Like every red deck, and again, the term every means, like, in our group, a lot of people are using Dockside Extortionist.
Yeah.
And this was at that level super quick.
Right.
And we didn't do it, and it wasn't in our play group really, but I think everybody kind of knew that it was a problem, and it just got pushed so much that it didn't have, I'm not going to say that it didn't have time to get self-censored, because that is what our format does best, is just going, I don't need this here.
Right.
This doesn't make it fun. This is, Hull Breacher is definitely a CEDH card, and it fucking ruins CEDH. So like within a year of this one, our first tournament, the Salty tournament.
Oh, it was the tournament. That's right. Yep.
It won it, and then the next day it got banned.
Yep.
Or that day. And so it just I mean, it was just, I think the problem was that it was everywhere. We already had a card that was similar to it with Leovold that was banned because of everybody abusing that part. Mm-hmm. I'm glad it's gone too. Yeah. Like, I'm glad that I don't see that, because it makes a miserable game.
Right. For as much as I say I don't want bans, but when you make cards like this, I'm glad that there is bans, because we wouldn't have said there was like, that's the thing is we don't do that. We don't go up, can't play this card. Can't we say certain cards we don't play. We don't ban other people from playing stuff. So seeing this all the time and then seeing that with a, whatever, Wheel of Fortune or
a Windfall. Like there's enough wheels out there now too.
Yeah. So and the funny thing is we had, because we did the tournament, the very first, the Salty 64 tournament was in the summer or spring summer. And I think the finals were like midsummer. When this won, that had been out from December to then. So about 6 months. And I didn't put it in a single deck. I don't know why, but I never put it in a deck. I don't think I ever saw anybody play it. I think we did that was when we were doing the league, the Battle Box League. So maybe we did see it there occasionally, but
possibly. Yeah, but a box league isn't going to be as abusive either.
Right. You can't plan around it. So anyway.
So I'm glad that one's gone. Never really had to deal with it at all. And I do think most of the cards on the ban list, like I know we've had conversations about it. I think most of them should stay there.
So what do you think about like Worldfire getting unbanned a couple years back?
Right.
And like when do you feel like an unban can come in? Because it's weird because Worldfire got unbanned, but you have the blue one. What is it called?
Sway the Stars?
Yeah, that feels very similar to that one, like because everybody basically you bounce everything to your hand and then everybody's life is 7 and then you just start over. Whereas Worldfire is you exile everything, hands everything, and then your life is 1. So it's like, why did that one get unbanned and this one didn't? It feels like the other one is more fair because at least hey, I have land. Whereas the other one, it's like, who's going to do 1 damage first? I don't know. Like,
yeah. I mean,
because the biggest
I guess
argument,
that and Biorhythm, I wouldn't have a problem coming off. Like cards at 8+ mana,
right,
should be powerful, and it's okay if they kill somebody. You know what I mean? Like Biorhythm, if somebody doesn't have creatures, whoops.
So
like
the funny thing is I did some reading on that too, on like why Sway of the Stars and Biorhythm are still banned, and it said like their reasoning is because you have the game going and you play those cards and it really doesn't have anything to do with what happened to the game before, like what's gone on before. It's like you're restarting. But then to me, I'm like, then why the hell did you do Worldfire for that? Because it's exactly the same thing. Like, you're restarting the game and then everybody's life is 1. It's like, how is this any different than these two? So it's just weird. Sometimes you get these contradictions, and maybe Worldfire was a test to see, hey, we're going to unban one of these that are similar. Cause I think all 3 of those 3 all feel very similar. And I think maybe they unban one of them to see, hey, how does the format absorb it, and do people start playing a lot more, and in games how does it do, and maybe that's more of a test to see how it goes, and then decide if they're going to do anything else.
And I think it went fine.
Yeah,
I think it's fine, and so I think it'd be okay. I mean, it's been a few years now.
Yeah,
I think we could try another one. Biorhythm. I have a foil one of that, so that'd be nice.
I spec'd on those because of Worldfire. So
you spec'd on both of them. That's what we're talking about.
Exactly.
So, but like when it's that high as CMC, I don't think it's as problematic because it is tougher to play them. You know what I mean? Like you could say the same thing about Torment to Hailfire. If you pay 10 into that, that's a game changer.
Right.
Like 8-10 into Biorhythm and Sway of the Stars, I don't have a problem with any of that. And at this point, like, okay, you're talking about like a Wrath. When a Wrath gets rid of everything, it doesn't matter what happened beforehand either. And we're not gonna ban Wraths. Like, they are part of the game.
Right.
So I mean, I don't want like the Mirror Universe cards. Like, I don't need fucking games like a shell game and shit like that. Like, I don't want that.
Play a
like,
mini
I
game.
get why that's banned.
Then who wins the mini game gets this and this. Like, this is stupid.
So like Karn Liberated, we can kill that one.
Okay.
We don't need a second game there.
Here we go. you're leading right into it without even knowing it. Are there cards right now in Commander that you could see that you would like banned? Maybe that maybe are toting the line for it.
There isn't anything because we do self-regulate. We do, CEDH has its own place, and they're allowed their cards. And then if you're more casual and you're looking for a certain type of game, like you should be conscious of that, right? Like, is Tigrid or Turgid cool in my deck? No, like people are just gonna be fucking pissed about it. Maybe I don't, or maybe you just learn don't tutor for it every game, or maybe you learn not in every black deck. Same thing with Nadu. There are definitely cards where you should be self-regulating.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people are doing it more and more and more. And I think there's a plethora of content creators out there that have set forth that idea more and more, like get rid of all the soul rings out of your deck and stuff like that, just to make things different. Like, I get that.
Mm-hmm.
And that there's a place for all of that in Commander. You just got to find the right people to play with.
Right, exactly. One thing that we've done over the years of talking and building decks and all that stuff is some of the big time staples I have been taking out, like Cyclonic Rifts don't make it in decks anymore. Crater Hoofs, Behemoths, and Leths, I have no other win cons, but I haven't put it in a new deck in a long time, so like you start self-regulating because it's just, you get bored of the same thing happening over and over. And that's the reason why we stopped with tutors. And that's the reason why mainly we stopped with tutors. Counterspells or whatever. That was more of a childhood scarring for us.
Trauma.
Yeah.
Drama.
But tutoring, just, making your deck so they all synergize instead of finding the same way.
Right.
Okay. So I don't think there was much more I had on the list. It's more of the Rule Zero was the last thing, and we kind of already talked about it in the beginning, so I don't really think we need to mention that much more.
Right. I do think that Rule Zero is super limited when it comes to like a bunch of randoms.
Right.
Like people that you don't have a real like rapport with. Like people don't really want to spoil their deck if you haven't seen it, because some people like the surprise. Some people don't want to be picked on. Like there's a plethora of reasons there. So I think Rule Zero does have its own way of not completely working. You know what I mean? And that can cause a lot of bitterness.
Yeah, I think Rule Zero really typically only applies with a consistent play group,
And honestly, like there's a reason why it is a joke, but it is real that everybody thinks that their deck is a 7. Like it's, there's a whole thing of like modesty and trying to be humble and not trying to come in and be like, hey guys, I'm going to fucking smash you with this 10. Like I've never heard that before, even if it happens.
Yeah.
And sometimes like your deck is a 7 and the other people are upping theirs to a 7. Like I went in with the 4-color landfall deck that was a fucking mess, and I smashed like a Eldrazi player. Like that shouldn't have fucking happened. And like, oh, your deck's so fucking good. And I was like,
take that, noobs. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. That's what it felt like. And I was like, this deck should not have been able to do that. Like I scape shifted, and my, I ended up getting like, I had Tireless Tracker in play. I had all of this land. I was like, oh, none of this should be happening. Even if there isn't counterspells, like kill some of this landfall stuff.
Yeah, that's funny.
And so like, it's sometimes they don't draw sometimes they don't draw the removals. Sometimes you're just drawing really good. Like that's another part of Commander that people need to be good about as well. Like not everybody out is trying to pub stomp you. Sometimes things are just working well, and sometimes they're not working well. Like there's that part of the game too.
For example, the last time we played, and I think Mark took my Morph deck, and I was like, play this deck because I'm gonna fucking kill it because it's so terrible. I hated it at SmithCon, and then he just wrecked shop with it, and I was like, God damn it, this deck's supposed to just suck. It's just because he hit everything perfect, and then not only that, it worked with other people playing something that helped his deck out, so everybody, he got more and more stuff and whatever. So Okay, so was there much more on the ban stuff that you want to talk about?
No, I mean, I think that's good. I think the self-regulatory agencies of Commander are really good. I appreciate that a lot. And so the less ban, the better.
Yep.
But banning cards that make games miserable, I think.
Yes, I'm very happy.
I think it's a good thing.
Hall Breacher. So you don't. I know there's a lot of people that the One Ring is people have a problem with. I don't think the One Ring has that. It's just it can be in every deck, and it should be in a lot of decks. You know.
Yeah, I don't think that's bannable. It doesn't make it miserable. It's just a very good. It's a heuristic study for every deck.
Right. That's a good point. That's a very good point. So if you're liking that, they plop that sucker in there. So
like, it's one of those cards that can be restricted. You know, like you if you're putting it in every deck, maybe lean it back a little bit.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's one of those kind of cards.
Yeah.
Kind of like we do that with heuristic study.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't go in every deck. It's one of those cards like
if you're lacking the draw, or if it really it's just if you're lacking the draw, get it in there.
Mm-hmm.
But that can be the One Ring. So all right, let's get to just some tags here, and then we can get to our Stump the Smith Savant. All right, so you guys, one ring will kill you and Commander if you're not careful. Yeah. He has RoboCop said I have less problem with the One Ring. Yeah. It's a good card to like you said, it can be in any deck. You can have ways to abuse it if you have the untapped synergies and all that fun stuff. And if your life gain deck should use it for sure. If you have a way of blinking it, then you can keep yourself protected. There's some cool stuff to do with it.
Yeah. Here's a thought as well with RoboCop saying it should be restricted in Modern, though, which isn't a thing. You don't restrict in Modern. That's only for Vintage. But if you are playing other formats, that can probably make you more annoyed with a certain card in Commander, and people should be cognizant of that as well.
That's a good point. Just
because you're seeing it all the time in Modern or Legacy does not mean that it's that oppressive in Commander.
Yeah.
So, but if you're playing multiple formats and all you're seeing are these cards, I can see that being annoying, but Commander's its own thing. And so you should be conscious of that.
And I've played it quite a bit. I probably have got it in play 4, 5, 6 times. It's never been like this card wins me the game. You know, it always in the beginning, we've talked about this before, always forget that you get protection from everything until your next turn. So you always forget that part in the first couple of times we played it. But really, it's just getting you that extra card draw. But it never is that like, it's not like you drop it down and it's like a cyclonic rift effect where it's like, oh, fuck, well, this player's probably going to win the game. It's just, all right, he's going to get some draw here.
It's a heuristic study effect. Like, if you're not careful, it's going to win you the game.
Right. Drawing enough cards.
So...
All right. Okay. So really quick, you guys can follow us, the Commander Smiths. You guys can support the Commander Smiths by becoming a patron. Man, I haven't done this in a while. We've just kind of skipped over this, but you guys can be join our Discord by becoming a patron. $1 or more gets you in the Discord. You're reading those comments there, so I don't and chime in whenever you want with those because I'm just going through it. $1 or more gets you in the Discord. You guys can get proxies each month. I have taken the summer off with making proxies. Just that's probably going to continue for summers. Just summer gets crazy, and we had our grandma passing away, so that was even crazier. And there was a lot going on this summer, so I kind of took a little break from doing that. But things are ramping back up. I'm done with. Actually, I got one more proxy to do for this month's proxy, so we're gonna get that going again. But yeah, that is one way you guys can support the Commander Smiths. But the thing is just the $1 gets you in the Discord, gets you chatting. Like we were talking all today before the secret layer dropped, which by the way, if you didn't pick up any of that, it's selling out. And the mystery booster 2 is about to sell out. So if you were planning on getting that one on the secret layer site, that one's about to go too. So just make sure you guys check that out. And we have those videos as well. There's other ways you guys can support us. You guys can support us on the live stream by donating. Malort something. We'll figure it out. We got something going there so you can make us take shots or whatever. The other way is just watching us on YouTube. That helps us out. watching our videos. So if you have a choice to watch the podcast, watch it there, or any of our other videos. We have spotlight decks. Are you doing a spotlight this week?
I don't know if it's going to happen this week. It might be like something, but I'm going to do the green black kitty that turns things into food. Yigra. I think that's how you would say it. I have that coming in from Card Sphere, so it just depends on when it gets here.
Okay.
But I'm pulling cards right now. I'm going to focus on like artifact hate, since it turns all the creatures into artifacts and stuff like that.
I like that.
That sounds terrible. So we'll see where it goes, but yeah, sometime this week or next week at this point.
Okay. So yeah, main stuff we have is the spotlight stuff. We have curated MTG. Larry kind of picks out some cards you might not know about that work well together. Normally it's after he gets done building a deck, you get a bunch of those. Got proxy videos, and then we have a lot of the Is It Worth It videos where we kind of break down the commander decks and the commander upgrade deck. So we got a lot of videos, especially when new product comes out. We go through that, and that kind of helps you guys out a lot, especially the budget upgrades. If you're just looking to build a new deck and you don't want to spend a lot of money, those are really good videos to watch because we kind of just give you some tips on how to make those decks better at a cheap rate or an expensive rate, or if you have no budget there. So, but yeah,
Scott is asking if we have a previous Stump submissions list at all. Is that something that you just kind of like, you already did that one?
Yeah. Just submit, and I'll be like, oh, we already got that one. Sometimes what I do though is if somebody submits it and there's multiple versions, I may pick the other version. So that there is that. So just make sure. Oh yeah, we'll get the Stump here in a little bit. So those are the big things to support the Commander Smiths. Everything that you guys donate to us goes right back into the show. Right now, our goal is we're trying to get enough money to get cameras, and we are going to start shooting the in real life Commander games with a twist. We have a twist that's coming with that. So everything you guys donate, either becoming a patron or even on the live stuff, that helps us out so we can get to our goal faster. So yeah, that is the best ways to support us. You guys can also email us at commandersmiths@gmail.com. We're also on TikTok and Instagram. And of course, if you're watching right now, we're on YouTube. But if you're listening, check us out on YouTube. Subscribe there. All right. Is there anything else we want to talk about? Did we just get to Stump Smith Savant? Do we want to get there?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, next week, are we doing this? This is an on-air production meeting. Are we going? Can we do Monday? Does Monday work? Even though it's a holiday?
I don't know. We should ask God about that.
Labor Day?
I was talking about the weather. The weather was nuts yesterday, last night. Both of our electricity was off. So
yeah, it was funny.
Even if we wanted to, like, it wasn't going to happen.
We put out the Larry text earlier in the day. He's like, should we push the cast? Because we're under like a really high risk rate. And I looked at the SPC and I was like, yeah, you're right. We're under like moderate, which means that something's going to hit here. And sure enough, that sucker started, building at like 1 in the afternoon and then just made its way across Minnesota, hit you first. Like when my power went out, I was like, my power's out yet. Mine went out like 10 minutes ago. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, so how fast did we had straight line winds, no 70, tornadoes, right? Yeah,
70 to 80 mile an hour straight line winds, which is like an EF1, like just across half of Minnesota. It's just insane.
Yeah, it was. I had plenty of branches come down. I'm glad no trees in my yard came down, but I was pretty strong. Like you start when the wind start like makes it that your backyard and your front yard disappears, and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah, that was.
And you're just kind of like, I was very much expecting sirens to go off.
Yeah, it just didn't. Yeah, I don't know. We didn't get severe enough, either with the hail which doesn't make sense. The wind should have got the severe thunderstorm warnings, which whatever. But when it started to hit here, we were making dinner, and I heard the wind pick up, and I was like, oh shit, because our houses, we're kind of on a hill, and always if we get severe weather, if we don't grab our trash can and our recycling can and bring it in, it gets blown down the hill. And it's not the small hill. This is a big hill. So as soon as I heard the wind pick up and I could see it outside, I was in the middle of making grilled cheese. I was like, I got to go get the trash can. So I run over. I hit the garage door button. I run up to the garage. And at that same time, I could feel like the garage was pushing in. So I was like, what the fuck is happening? And as I get to the door, I see it go up, and I grab the trash can, and it just gets yanked out of my hand along with the recycling can. These are big cans, get thrown over the edge. Well, let me back up. The trash can got knocked over, and then I jumped on it and grabbed it, and Drake came out. I was like, get mom, I need help. Because the recycling can was just sitting on top of the bush for the moment. And by the time I got the trash can in, it threw it all the way down the hill, recycling everywhere. Just Cindy and the boys went out and grabbed the can to bring it in, but all the recycling was everywhere. So today the boys, for a chore, picked it all up. But yeah,
that's nice of them.
We were out of power until about 10 o'clock. You got yours probably what, 8 o'clock, 8 or 9 o'clock?
8:30.
8:30. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a good call by yourself to say, hey, maybe we should push the cash to Tuesday.
Right. Well, also, like, somebody mentioned hail, softball sized hail, which we didn't get any hail, but I was like, I should move my car in. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, we should bring the trash in. And Kirsten just like, I was like, oh yeah, I guess we could bring in the trash. And I was like, we should bring in the empty, organics thing. I brought in the gas can. I was like, we should bring almost everything in that we don't want to go chasing after. Our water barrel went down our driveway a bit. Like, it was strong wind for sure.
Yeah.
You
guys got hit
in our area had, like, when I got back from work, I still saw trucks hauling branches and trees out of the area. So
yeah, that's insane.
It was busy.
Yeah. You know what's insane when the Minnesota State Fair delays their start this morning for like 3 or 4 hours, like, because they got flooded and so much damage from the winds and all that stuff. So it was pretty well. Then we got that other round this morning, which was crazy too. So
yeah.
All right, let's get to Stump the Smith Savant. Let's see here. You did get stumped, so I can hit this.
I did.
It's time for everyone's favorite game show.
I know what it is. I just don't know the name.
All right.
Honestly, last week I wasn't even close. That was one of the first times where I was just like straight up stumped.
Yeah, that one was pretty tough. So Lowry did get stumped last week, so his record drops to 101-34. Still really good record. So we restart everything. So we are on week 1 of round 34. So for the next 3 weeks, we have Sakashima of 1,000 Faces foil proxy that is up for grabs. Every 3 weeks, we add a card to the ante. And because of Tommy Olson's donation, this little Ragavan right here will be up for grabs when we hit the 3rd level. So after 6 weeks, if Lowry didn't get stumped last week, this would have been up for grabs. But Lowry got stumped, so we are starting over. But every 3 weeks, we add a card to the ante. This week's stumper is Roberto7. He keeps entering after he does his stuff. So if you guys want to... He's winning cards too, I think. He's won a couple times. So make sure you guys get entered in there. You can enter in by either emailing us at commandersmiths@gmail.com, or if you're part of the Discord, that is one of the benefits of being a part of the Discord. You shoot us a message directly and get you entered in there. So Lowry will get... Okay, let's see how we do this. Okay, the card has to be at least 10,000 EDH rec decks. Lowry gets up to 5 wrong answers every... Yes. I'm screwing this all up. How do I do this in the right order?
I'll hold you to whatever mistakes you make.
Lowry gets 5 wrong guesses. Every yes, he'll hear this.
Hello, boobies.
Every wrong, he'll hear this.
Wrong.
He gets up to 3 clues. If he can get everything about the card but can't get what the card name is, he will get the initials. If he still has a clue remaining, he will get a bonus clue, which should help give it away. Again, it has to be in at least 10,000 EDH rec decks. I think that's it. So we're going to read the flavor text here. And I eliminated the chat so the chat can play along. Lowry has a timer of 20 minutes. So we have added that to the mix here so he can't delay things. And here we go. I actually got to hit the start. All right. For years afterward, lucky explorers who found the cave could chip gold fragments off the rocky walls. For years afterward, lucky explorers who found the cave could chip gold fragments off the rocky walls.
All right. Years afterward, that doesn't give me anything. Lucky explorers. So explorers kind of puts me at either like Ixalan or Zendikar. But Zendikar, I mean, who found the cave could chip gold fragments. Gold is likely treasure off the rocky walls. Rocky walls. I mean, also this kind of points to potentially a land. So, like in my mind, explorers, treasure, potentially a land. I feel like this is Ixalan. There's like a lot of hints there. So let's go with the easier way to do this is like, is this a permanent card?
Wrong.
Oh, so not a land. So we're talking instant or sorcery. I still feel like it's Ixalan. I still think that makes a lot of sense. For years afterward, lucky explorers who found the cave would chip gold fragments off the rocky walls. Can I also feels like so kind of feels red. Kind of feels red. Is that what's going on? Instant or sorcery? Yeah, that could be in there. For some reason it feels like it's that like 7 or 8 mana, get like 7 treasures or something. I can't remember the name of that thing. Can I get a first clue, please?
The art features a devilish-looking figure wielding dual fire weapons, locked in a battle against 3 cowboy elementals. The art features a devilish-looking figure wielding dual fire weapons, locked in battle against 3 cowboy elementals.
Oh shit!
That didn't help you at all.
I mean, this seems like a super new card. If we're talking fucking cowboys, can I hear that again?
The art features a devilish-looking figure wielding dual fire weapons, locked in battle against 3 cowboy elementals.
Okay, so I guess that puts us at what was that one called? I mean, there's plenty of treasure in that one. I'm blanking on the new set. It was after Murders and before Bloomborough. And so Outlaws of Thunder Junction.
There you go.
So it's likely from that. Can I hear that first clue again?
The art features a devilish-looking figure wielding dual fire weapons, locked in battle against 3 cowboy elementals.
Is this color identity red and or black?
Hello, boobies.
Instant or sorcery, red and or black. Thunder Junction, likely. I'll get a second clue, please.
The text features damage with an extra reward when you go beyond what's necessary.
Shit, I do know this one. X and a red.
Hello, boobies.
Not sure if it's instant or sorcery. How many wrong do I have?
1.
So I know it's red.
Hello, boobies.
Just wanted to give you the boobies.
Thank you. I had this in my Lucia Kane deck, but shit, what was that? I do not even recall that art. Shit. Okay, so You deal X damage to target creature.
Hello, boobies.
Any excess damage, you get to create that many tapped treasure tokens.
Let me just check. Yep.
Hello, boobies.
It feels very much like this is it an instant?
Wrong.
Sorcery.
Hello, boobies.
All right. The initials are HTP. You got everything about the card, so that's why I'm giving you the initials.
Yeah.
HTP, and I can give you a bonus clue if you can't figure it out there.
HTP? Shit. HTP. HTP?
Yep.
I mean, there's heists, there's plotting. T is either the, to.
I'll give you
heist, the.
I was gonna say I'll give you one of the word clues. The first clue, I mention a figure. Where would that figure be found? That's what the first word would be. And the third word would be something you use with how you what you do with gold. With a P word.
Oh, P your word.
So let me read that first clue again. So the first, what I said there was that the first word deals with where you find this figure. All right, you ready? The art features a devilish-looking figure wielding dual fire weapons locked in battle against 3 cowboy elementals. A devilish-looking figure, and it's an H word. Does that help?
No.
What?
No, it does not help.
How does that not work? Where would you find a devilish looking figure that starts with an H? That's as much clues as I could give you without just telling you exactly what it is. Devilish looking figure with an H word. Where do you find a devilish looking figure that starts with an H?
I don't even know if I understand what you're saying.
Scott's even laughing. A devilish looking figure.
Like, is that on like a stagecoach? Is that what you're saying? Like, that's
a devil-ish.
No, I understand that it's H, but I'm like, because that's like a demon.
Where would you find those?
In a Thunder Outlaw situation?
No, where would you find that? A devil. A devil. Where would you find the devil? Jesus Christ. That starts with the letter H.
How about you leave me alone here? Like, go to the third word. What are you saying?
Scott says, is he thinking handsome?
What was the third word clue?
Okay, so then it's how you use what you would do to like use with gold. What do you do when you're buying things? It starts with a P.
Purchase.
Oh, Scott, I wish I would have. If I would have given it the clue that way, I still think he wouldn't have got it. Like,
wow. How about you just call me stupid? How about that?
I mean, you got everything about what the card is.
Look at this motherfucker over here. Give me clues and just cryptic clues. Where would he?
Cryptic clues. Where would you find the devil and demons? It starts with the letter H. I have no idea.
Where are we at? 10 minutes?
Stagecoach?
Give me a second. All right. X and a red. HTP. It's a sorcery. Deals damage to a creature. Excess damage creates the treasures.
You know what it is? You don't have beer in your system is what the problem is.
Yeah, well. If I ever have to go to AA, I'll explain that it improved my Stump the Smith Savant percentage, and that'd be they'll send me to a different place for more help.
I should keep a different record of your drinking and not drinking record. So have two separate ones.
Okay. No, I know this. Again, it was in my Magus Lucia Kane deck, because the X spell. I should know it. I played it at SmithCon. I don't recall who I played it against. It might have been
Malort spam would fix this, is what Scott
Lucas
says.
Oh. Hell?
Hello, boobies.
Good job.
Hell to pay?
Hey!
Hello, boobies.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah, let me show it. Jesus. Where do you?
I could not think of the picture at all. That is not ever what I saw. I
know
no
it's a
idea what
bunch
I
of
saw.
like when you have to like examine to try to figure out the art. Then I'm like, oh shit, yeah. So this is like a devil dude. See his horns here?
Hardly, but yeah.
Oh wait,
okay.
I don't have the mouse there. His horns right here. I had the mouse on my. So he has horns here, and then I don't know. This looks like Halo weapons, like the sword you get in Halo, but in fire.
Yeah,
and
I
then
see
these
it.
guys have cowboy hats. That's a cowboy hat right there. His head is,
I still don't see any of this.
and then
The
this dude
only
has a
memory I had of
sword.
this card was it. I thought it was like a stagecoach wheel, like the guy that's holding it. I guess I gotta start looking at art again.
Yeah, so
What
I
the
think
hell?
he
And I
blew
thought-
his head off.
I thought those
and that's
guns
the-
were like reins holding like fire horses.
Oh,
That's
really?
what I thought the card was, and I think that's why I was thinking like stagecoach
Oh.
or whatever. But man, I was off.
Yeah, so
on
he's
what I was
killing
thinking,
these
but I got it.
guys, and that's what's getting plastered against the wall, chipped gold fragments off the rocky walls, because he's blowing these guys away with his Halo fire sword.
Yeah, he's blowing something. Jesus,
Oh.
what a fucking mangled art. I love whoever did this art. Good, like I cannot do better. But I guess I just did not look at it well enough.
It's
at
funny
all.
though, because like that's a lot of times it's just when it's this, I do the same thing, Larry. Like I'm like, it's hell to pay, so this is what it does, and I don't really look at it. But when I'm having to do this, I'm like, what the fuck is going on in this? It's like I caught that he had a like this little guy. That's a cowboy hat there. And I think there's one here, and then he has a sword right here. This guy, his head's already blown off, so I don't know what's going on here.
He's gonzo.
Yeah. So, but yeah,
Cool.
Congratulations, Lowry. Roberto7, you did not beat Lowry this time. I know you have many times. If you like, you could sign this card and send it to us. It'll make Lowry's wall and my wall over here. That would be great. If you need a mailing spot, just shoot me a message, either email or say, look at that beautiful wall. And Lowry likes to put cards that you guys sign in his decks, which I think that's a great idea. I should start doing the same. But I do like having the wall of shame on there. So
Yeah, but I mean, like, there's enough cards there. And like, it's hard to get it all in, and you just put it back in there when you're done with it.
that's a good point. All right, I'm gonna draw a name for next week. Again, we will move to week 2, so Sakashima will still be there. Once we pass week 3, then we will add another card to the ante, and we get to the 3rd level is when we get that Ragavan mixed in there. So, I got 2 in there. I'm gonna move one there. All right, it is Deadpool Dragon. We haven't had this guy for a little bit. So,
No, we haven't.
Deadpool Dragon, you are next week's Stumper.
Great job with your movie.
It's a very good movie.
I hope it's Deadpool for real.
It's the real Deadpool. All right, gang, that should do it for this week. We will catch you guys next week.
Thanks for listening.
See ya.
Bye.
See ya.
I love boobs, I'm talking tatas. I love boobs, I'm bonkers for honkers. I love boobs, thanks for the memories. I love boobs.
Is out.
Hey, Meat Force, could you kindly tap the like and subscribe button? And if you're ever in the mood, head on over to commandersmiths.com and you can get the shirts and mugs you see on the screen
not there
and some
anymore.
other stuff.